Welcome everyone to another episode of Tutorial Tuesday. It is week number 14, 2019. I'm glad that you're along with us. Sorry I wasn't able to get on this morning, but I had an early morning job that lasted pretty much all day. But now I'm here to answer your questions. I have a couple of announcements, as I always do. I'll be talking about the April Photography Challenge, and then I'll be announcing the winner of March's Photography Challenge. And we'll also be looking at the picture that won as well. In addition to that, for the first time, I've added just a quick 15-minute photo critique, if you will, of all the images that were submitted. Now, these photo critiques are not meant to be harsh or anything like that, but I try and give you a couple pointers on what you might want to consider, doing something better in an image and, maybe changing perspective or something like that. But I want you to take a look at that, and I'll be uploading that to YouTube. So let's talk about April's Photography Challenge. In April, since we're just coming into branding, April, what I want you to watch for is light. So that being said, what I want you to do is create a portrait of a human being working, and I want you to pay attention to get them in either a split light or in short light. And if you don't know what those are, I want you to look them up, because when we're out on location, we'll see those things all the time. Now, as I've always said, your image must be sharp, no matter what. So if you're out on location, take a picture of a human being while they're working, and they either have to be in split light or short light. So take a look at that. Now, announcement number 2. I want to congratulate Rick Hebert on the portrait of the cowboy that he made that won March's Photography Challenge, which was Fill the Frame. He used a wide-angle lens, used every bit of it, and got that portrait of the cowboy with a revolver, and even got a smoking gun on there. So let's take a look at that and then get right into your questions. This is a common question that I get based on the type of work that I do. And while I'm not in extreme situations like the Sahara Desert or up in Antarctica or something like that, I'll show you exactly what I do. So when it starts raining, what I do is I carry a handful of these garbage bags in my camera bag, and then I just rubber band them here and back here. That's it. Now, my standard disclaimer, that may not work for you and you may cringe seeing that, but I can tell you that over 10 plus years, that's what I've used. It's low cost, it's low tech, and I've never ruined any of my equipment. So do what's best for you. This is a good question, and there's a couple things to this. Number one, when you're out with your client, before you finish the shoot or after you finish the shoot, give them an expectation of when they can expect to receive their images. It'll save you a headache, it'll save them a headache. So for me personally, my typical lead time is 2 to 3 weeks, but there are some clients that I need to turn the images within 24 to 48 hours. So that's something that you can upcharge for. There's this old saying in photography, when it's bright and sunny out, there's this what's called the sunny 16 rule. So you would set your aperture at f16 and you would get a good exposure. But that's the same thing. Now, f16 at 125th of a second is the exact same exposure as f8 at 1/500th of a second, or even f4 at 1/2000th of a second, but they have drastic differences aesthetically. When I go out on location and it's bright and sunny like that, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll be dialing up my shutter speed to somewhere in the neighborhood of 1/2500th of a second and shooting at like f4 or even f2.8. So that's how I combat. I have 2 primary bodies that I use while I'm out on location for any shoot that I do. I have a 5D Mark IV with a 70 to 200 on it, and a 5D Mark III with a 16 to 35 on it. Rather than recreate the wheel here, what I'm going to do is provide you a link by swiping over to Flern's website, and they do a YouTube tutorial on how to make that happen. So go ahead and swipe over. This next question comes to me via direct message because it's a bit longer, and basically what the person is asking is they have a crop sensor body and they want a wide angle lens, but they need to factor in the crop factor of a crop sensor. And if you don't know what a crop sensor is, look, I'm not going to bog you down with the details. You can go online and there is hordes of information. But know this, a crop sensor body is the sensor is physically smaller than a full frame body. So as a result, the full frame cameras are able to do better in low light and resolve the noise that comes with that low light photography in a much better way. But in addition to that, you have to factor in, or you have to multiply a crop factor of 1.5 into your lens selection. So when we're talking about a 14 to 24 millimeter lens for Nikon, we're actually talking about, on a crop factor body, the equivalent of 21 to 36 millimeters. Now, that's on my friends over at KEH have one of those, and it's a 2.8 lens, so you'd be great going with that. Otherwise, the one that you sent me that's equivalent to 16 to 35 at an aperture of 3.5 would be great too. If you want to learn more about the crop factor, or the crop sensor bodies, go ahead and just take a look online, and you'll have a ton of information to sift through. So I hope that helps you.